Hello, I'm Phoenix. I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Eve, and I use any pronouns.
And this is Talkin in the Tavern. This month we are doing the rapid fire book tag, originally created by Girl Reading on YouTube.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we're back at it. This is the first tit and the first actual episode of season 2 of Hearth and Tome.
I know, it's a bit crazy, right?
Yeah, not the first one we've recorded.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
We meant to do this before. Just spoilers, the book club for this month is fucking incredible.
Oh,
the book is
doozy.
absolutely awful, but the episode is really fun.
We were going to record this yesterday, but then Eve finished the book club book yesterday, and we ended up recording the book club episode yesterday instead.
It's so because the utter brain rot I had after that book is us screaming for an hour and a half. It's really fun. You're so welcome.
It is. There's like a 20-minute chunk at the start of that episode before we really start talking about the book where we're just ranting, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
it's so funny.
Tune in. A couple of weeks after this goes up, that will go up, and you can all enjoy whatever that was.
Whatever the hell that was.
But in the meantime, we're doing this rapid fire book tag.
Yeah.
Which is
good way to
exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
We could jump right in.
Let's.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
I'm doing a figurative finger gun at you.
Pew pew.
The first question on the rapid fire thing is ebook or physical book?
Physical.
Same.
I don't think that's a difficult
I find them easier.
choice.
Yeah.
I do read ebooks. I just prefer physical books. I find them easier to read.
Yeah.
I like the feeling of it. It smells better.
I'm less likely to doom scroll.
Yeah. I don't get as distracted.
Yeah, because if I read on my tablet, I'll want to like put music on in the background, and then I'm like, oh, there's something on Spotify. I could make a new playlist. Oh, I could do this, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
But I can't do that with physical books. It's great.
Plus, physical books are prettier.
Yes.
Like an ebook, you just scroll past the cover real quick because it doesn't matter, you know. But a physical book, you get to look at the cover every time you pick it up.
And you get to have that kind of like thing in public where you're like, I'm reading.
Yeah.
Look at me.
You're not just like another
cool.
young person sitting on your phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, look at me reading a book. I'm an intellectual, actually. And
look at
there's
me.
something
I'm so
very
smart.
satisfying when you finish a book and then you like put it down closed. That's what I always do. Whenever I'm like sitting in bed with my partner, we're both reading, and then I'll finish my book and I'll like close it and then like put it down really forcefully and be like, ha! As like, look at me, I finished a book. It doesn't have the same effect when it's just like, oh, look at me, I finished reading a book on my Kindle. Woo!
Yeah,
you know?
It doesn't feel the same.
No.
Especially if it's like a really chunky one.
Yeah.
You want to have that like satisfaction of like shutting it really hard and then putting it on your shelf.
Obviously, there are advantages to ebooks, right? Like you can have lots in one very small device, but physical books are just nicer.
They are. And it's the smell. It's so good.
Yeah.
I do love an ebook, but like there's only specific books I get on ebook.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah,
not like
given the choice, I would always rather have a physical book.
Same.
Plus, you can't keep ebooks on your shelf. And most like ebook systems, you don't really own the book.
Yeah.
Which is apparently something
Sometimes
that TikTok only recently discovered.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, but like a couple of weeks ago there was this huge thing on TikTok where all the book talk people were like, oh my god guys, I just realised that you don't really own the books you buy on Kindle. And I was like, did we not know this already?
Right.
So
they're like £2 for a reason.
Yeah, it's because all it's going to take... Obviously, Amazon isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But if Amazon randomly decides to stop providing Kindle, what y'all going to do? All those books, you're never going to get them because Amazon fucking DRMs them as well. So it's not like you own the files.
They're gone.
They are gone. You can only access them through Kindle. And if Amazon shuts down Kindle, bam, no more books for you.
Exactly.
I have shelves and shelves full of physical books. Losers.
It's true, like some of them they'll break my back, but I'd rather carry them around than have the constant fear of I'm gonna lose these and like when the conglomerate shuts down or something.
Yeah, physical ownership. It's just nicer. And
exactly.
Easier to lend to people.
Exactly. I love.
I can be like, oh, I've got a copy of that book. Let me lend it to you. I can't do that with Kindle. I mean, you can. You can set up weird like shared libraries, but that's so much more of a faff than just taking a book off my shelf and handing it to somebody.
Exactly. I've really got one of my friends into reading recently, so I've just been like giving them everything I own. It's been really satisfying.
Yeah, like even.
And then you can pat your books.
As an example, I'm sure you remember when Legends of Lattes was first getting published here, and you read the ebook proof specifically because I was like, I don't really want to read it as an ebook.
Yeah,
I was literally like, oh, I don't really. I just know I wouldn't get anywhere.
To be fair, and plus it was like not PDF format, but like I had to scroll, which is not as satisfying as like tapping it, turning a fake page. So it was kind of unsatisfying.
I prefer infinite scroll when I read ebooks. Yeah, I like being able to just scroll through.
It just feels like I'm on like Tumblr or something, and I don't know. It's just I don't like it. Yeah, I like knowing where I am on the page.
That's fair. That's
to be fair, I also like up the size font when I'm reading ebooks.
Oh, you got every
my
time you
eyes.
open an ebook, you got to spend so much time getting the font size just right, and the margins and the line spacing.
Or if your phone's in dark mode, it turns the page black, and I'm like, why? No.
Yeah. So much faffing with margins and stuff to make sure that you've got like the ideal reading experience. A book, you can't change that. Which I guess some might say is a downside, but to me it's an upside because it means I could just pick up a book and start reading.
Exactly.
Anyway.
There's no faff. I'm forced to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You take what you give, you know?
Yeah.
Question 2 is paperback or hardback?
I struggled with this one. I like both. Hardback is specifically for like my special editions or like my favorite books, but paperbacks because I can beat them up and I like crack the spine is always very satisfying to me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But like hardbacks sit like very like uniform and like in a line and I look kind of more like aesthetically pleasing on my bookshelf.
This is true, although hardbacks do come in different sizes as well, which always upsets me.
This is also true.
I prefer paperbacks on the whole.
Fair enough, yeah.
I detest with a fucking passion dust jackets on hardback books. Whenever I'm reading a hardback, the dust jacket is, I take it off, I put it on my like bedside table, and then when I finish reading the book, that's when I put the dust jacket back on, because dust jackets just piss me off. But hardbacks do tend to be prettier, which is why there's quite a few books where I have pretty hardback editions because I like them and they look nicer. But for the reading experience, I would always rather go for a paperback. But not to the extent that I'm like, oh, this book I'm really excited for is coming out, but I'm going to wait like a year until it comes out in paperback. I'm not quite that bad, but I would always just be like, oh, a paperback, I'll have that.
But that's why I'm like so glad if they do like special editions of books, like the Illumicrate. Is it Illumicrate that did Nona and Gideon?
The ones that I've got.
Or is that Fairy Look? Yeah.
The ones that I've got are from Dazzling Bookish Shop, but I think Illumicrate did also do a set.
Gorgeous. Yeah. But like they did them all in hardback and they're just so kind of perfect.
Yeah.
But like if it's special edition, I want it to be a hardback.
Yeah.
Like no questions asked.
I have the Illumicrate editions of the Becky Chambers Wayfarer books, and part of what I really appreciate about them is that they are hardbacks without dust jackets. They do not have dust jackets, and I love that.
I just wish we moved away from like doing dust jackets on everything and just putting the actual cover on the hardback.
Yeah.
I would really like that because they do it with the Cassandra Clare books. Like all of those new ones that are coming out have all not got dust jackets.
Oh really?
Apart from like the special editions, yeah.
Interesting.
And I just like it more, especially because it's more like a foamy cover as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like a weapon.
What really annoys me is when, like, places, I don't know if Illumicrate does this, but places like Illumicrate that do, like, special editions of books, it's like, oh, we've got this really pretty edition, it's a really nice hardback, but then it's just got the normal cover dust jacket over the top of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah.
Don't send me the dust jacket, just send me the pretty hardback. I don't want the dust jacket.
Exactly. Or if they only do a spread for their special edition.
Oh, boring.
Yeah. Like, I love a sprayed edge, but, like, come on.
Put a bit of jazz
do something
in,
snazzy.
I
like,
think we're
recolor
at
it or
the
something.
point now where a spread isn't that special.
That
like, a book having a spread, I'm like, oh, spread, and that's it. I'm not like, oh, this is a cool edition. I feel like they need more than that to be a cool edition these days.
It's only if, like, I get it, like, done by someone specifically, or, like, it's like a painting on the side of the book or something.
Those are cool. But when it's just like it's just like a flat colour or like a bit of a pattern or whatever, I'm like, meh.
Yeah. Easily done. Like, ugh.
Yeah, also just while we're on the topic of hardbacks and books coming out in hardback and not waiting until paperback, did you see yesterday they announced the next Percy Jackson book?
I did. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks very pretty, and I will definitely be getting that when it comes out.
But no, the Percy Jackson cover is gorgeous.
Yes, I'm very excited, and I did enjoy the other one, but I can't remember what it's called. Chalice of the Gods.
Oh, Chalice of the Gods. Yeah, I've got the spread for that. It's gorgeous.
I do not. I just have a normal hardback. I think it is signed, the one I've got though.
Yours is signed, yeah. Because you got it in the shop, right?
Yeah. So I imagine hopefully we'll be getting signed ones, but it doesn't come out until fucking September. So.
No.
Anyway.
It's like a little treat though for like end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. For my 4th year, I'll get like a nice little Uncle Rick. Anyway, we'll move on to question 3.
Yes.
Online or in-store book shopping?
Well, I mean, in-store.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
I think it's fair to say that I'm biased. We both work in a bookshop.
Yeah.
But also, even if I didn't,
yeah,
in-store book shopping is always a better experience.
Because you get to like go through their shelves and you get to like actually hunt for stuff that you want.
Yeah.
But like usually I know what I want when I go into a shop.
Mm-hmm. And then I come out of the shop with that and another couple of books I didn't intend to buy.
Exactly, and it's like a little treat.
Yeah, and like sometimes,
it is a little treat.
Sometimes the staff in bookshops, are there to give great recommendations for you.
We give fantastic little recommendations. Yeah, we're great.
But I just think it's nicer as well, even if you know exactly what book you want. And you could get it off of like Amazon or something. It's nice to pick it up and look at it and read the blurb and flick through it and get a sense whether or not you actually might like it. Rather than just ordering it online when all you can really see is like the cover and the blurb and maybe a couple of the pages.
Exactly. Because then you can like full on like read like the first chapter or something, see if you like it.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. Or like if it's in like in budget or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's just.
I like it more.
It's nicer.
And you get a good smell of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
the in-person bookstore smell.
There's just nothing quite like browsing in a bookshop.
Exactly.
It's just better. It really is.
It is just better. Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any significant upside either to ordering online.
I mean, I'd only order it if it's going to either our bookshop or like from a bookshop to my house.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So like either way I'm ending up in a bookshop. Either. So like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus when you go to a bookshop and you buy a book, you've got the book right away. You don't have to wait.
Exactly.
You don't have to faff around with deliveries and shit like that. It's there.
Because they always come at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yep. So it'll be there by 10 p.m. tonight, and then at 9:59 it's like, hello. I'm like, I'm in bed.
Hi there.
This is bedtime,
I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm EP. I'm in my pajamas. Leave me alone. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, in the store. That one was a real easy one.
It's correct. It was like the easiest one. Okay.
Question 4 is trilogies or series?
It depends.
I think it does, right? Like, this is a weird question.
Yeah. For most books, I like them to be trilogies. Or trilogies set in, like, the same world. But series give the idea of, like, spin-offs and all that jazz. But, like, if it's the 3-book series, it's all kind of, like, wrapped up.
Yeah.
But, like, I do love a really, like, 8-book series.
That's the thing, right?
That I can really get my teeth into.
I think I'd rather a trilogy that's like complete than a series that's just like gonna keep going forever, because I don't want to be expected to like keep up with every fucking release, right? Like a trilogy is a nice like, oh, it's a finished thing and now the author is moving on to other stuff. But sometimes I'm like, I get to the end of 3 books and I'm like, I want more of this world, and there's just not. So it's a tricky one. I do feel like this is a weird question.
But like, here's the thing. If it's YA, standalone or a trilogy. If it's adult, series or standalone. That's kind of where I sit on it.
I can see that, actually, yeah.
But once again, Rick Riordan, I want it to be huge. And it is, and it's majestic.
But the thing with Rick is, he's gonna come out with more books. Right? He's not a George R.R. Martin who's been working on the same book for like a decade and a half or however long. And it's like, is this ever going to come out? Who fucking knows?
I doubt it.
Also, at this point, who fucking cares?
Yeah, honestly. I'm over it.
I think most people are.
I don't care. Yeah.
So, but like with an author like Rick Riordan, they're still working on it, it's still coming.
Yeah.
And I'm like content with that sort of situation. I also feel like he's the sort of person who would know when to like tap something off and start something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's set in the same world, like he's done that a few times, and I think that works for him.
Yeah, but then I also like the idea of like sequel trilogies to original trilogies. Like V.E. Schwab's doing that with Darker Shade.
Right. Yeah.
And like that was wrapped up, and then 6 or something years later, she's just released. Whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of
Fragile Threads.
Fragile Threads. There we go. Yeah. Because I like that idea of like years later doing another trilogy on top of it.
Yeah. Doing a Star Wars.
It has to be exactly doing a Star Wars.
Except not
but like
bad.
It has to be Yeah. I don't know, it depends. I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
Strange question, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 5 is heroes or villains? Villains.
They're just
like morally
so
much
more
villains.
interesting to me.
Right? Heroes are always like cut and paste kind of like good guys. Like sure, they've got like morally grey heroes or just like villains by themselves.
Yeah.
Villains are totally more interesting.
Yeah, I'm taking this question in this context to be like good guy hero or like bad guy villain, like classic archetype.
Yeah.
And I'd always rather go for villain in that situation. But I do love a morally complex hero. Or maybe morally complex
a hero that does not want to be there. Yeah. A hero that just does not want to be there. Like that's always fun to me. But like if it's this copy kind of like good guy or villain.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
simple.
I think exploring villain motivations and why they act the way they act and why they are like the bad guys is so much more interesting than anything you can explore about why a hero is being a hero.
Literally.
Because most of the time the hero is being a hero because they believe in being good, which is fine, but it gets repetitive real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas there's something really interesting about like diving into why a villain is the villain,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm reading currently Will of the Many by James Islington, and it's the main hero of the story, the main protagonist, is like a prince whose whole family was killed and he's in hiding. He does not want to save any of them from the current system that's in place. He wants nothing to do with it. He wants to just, like, not be in the story at all. He wants to be forgotten completely. And it's so good to watch it happen, because he's kind of forced to actually do it, but he doesn't want to. Like, he goes against the people that are on his side, and it's really entertaining.
Yeah.
But, like,
I think that's just more interesting than, like...
Yeah.
It's why I've never liked characters like Captain America or Superman.
God's sake.
Who have this, like, stereotypical good guy thing, where they just believe in truth and justice and goodness and
the goodness of the world. People are horrible. People are genuinely horrible.
And I think there's something interesting in exploring, like, why somebody might be good despite the fact that the world is shit.
Exactly. But that's fun.
I just can't stand the, like, good guy for the sake of being a good guy archetype. That is one of my least favourite things in any media. Exactly.
Boring.
even bad guys being bad guys for the sake of being bad guys is more interesting to me.
Yeah. Mega mind.
Yeah. I just think
Why did he pop into my head?
More interesting.
Exactly. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one.
Question 6. A book you want everyone to read.
The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. It's self-explanatory. It's 1,000 pages. It's like my favourite fantasy series of all time. It's not even finished yet. It's going to be massive. I cannot describe what it's about because it's so stupid. It's got magical swords and, like, desolations and people with magical powers based on their, like, trauma.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And there's world hoppers and it's kind of crazy and I love it.
I've put Gideon the Ninth.
Yes!
By Tamsin Muir.
That was my backup.
We've been listening to the audiobook of Gideon the Ninth
on
the way to and from work the past couple of weeks, and this is the first time I've, like, reread it, right? I haven't reread Gideon since I first read it in, like, 2022 or whenever it was. So it's really fun to be, like, re-listening to it and be like, oh yeah, I remember all this stuff now.
Hell yeah.
I just think it's such an excellent book.
It's just so good.
Yeah. And, like, I can understand why some people don't get along with it, because it is
confusing.
Yeah, and it's aimed at very specific people. Like, my older sister tried to read it and was like, I don't like this. I was like, yeah, I can kind of see why.
Yeah.
But
I think
if you're like Gen Z or a Tumblr millennial, you will fucking love this shit.
It's so Tumblr coded.
That's where
that's why it does so well on Tumblr.
That's Tasmir's, like, whole thing.
It's great.
So, yes.
It's very... Also, if you like Becky Chambers, you'll like it as well, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Very different vibe.
Like, similar... Different vibe, but the same kind of, like fandom-esque?
I think
don't know.
I think there's probably a lot of crossover, but where Becky Chambers is very, like, gentle cozy. And kind and cozy sci-fi, The Locked Tomb is not.
Beat you up.
It is
beat your mental health into
heartbreaking and incredible and emotional
and so
hilarious
confusing.
And so confusing.
Nothing makes sense and it's perfect. You'll have to constantly check the wiki page to make sure things are correct.
Particularly...
Especially in the second book.
Yeah, particularly in Harrow. Yeah.
That's a bit of a mindfuck of a book.
A bit.
A bit. Just semi.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit. Little bit. I had to read it twice because I didn't understand it.
It's also very much one of those series that no matter what people suggest as, like, this book's like it, I have never come across anything that actually
I've never seen anything like
it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's, like, genuinely unique, I would say. So
yeah,
I think everybody should at least try Gideon the Ninth.
Yeah. You'll get sucked in, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll stab you right in the chest, that's all I'll say. It really...
So many times. It will break your heart. You will cry.
Absolutely.
You will laugh.
And you will have a mental breakdown and then go into a reading slump because it's so good.
It's just They're just all three books that are out so far are just so good.
It's probably why I like compare it to Becky Chambers, because you need the comfort of Becky Chambers after it.
Yeah, pretty much. I would also say that not only are they like incredible, but Tamsin Muir's writing, like her prose, is fucking fantastic.
Beautiful.
Like I'm really picking up on this the second time around, because the first time around, obviously, I was just focused on like what was happening and the vibes. Yeah. But this time around, like listening to the words she uses and the way she writes is so good. She just has so lyrical. Such I love it. Incredible prose, and that is not something that a lot of authors have. So
yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good.
Number 7. We'll go right into it. Recommend an underrated book.
Frontier by Grace Curtis.
Yes.
This won't come as a shock to anybody who's listened to any episode of this podcast before. But I fucking love Frontier. It's such a wonderful book. It's a sci-fi western, like a classic space western, in a future sort of apocalyptic Earth. And the main character doesn't really have a name. She just gets titles. It feels a lot like The Mandalorian in that sense.
I like that.
And her ship crashed to Earth, and she was in an escape pod. And then she spends the whole book like traveling from the escape pod to where the ship crashed, because her girlfriend was on the ship, and she needs to find out if her girlfriend's okay.
Aww.
And it's really good.
That's so sweet.
It's fantastic read. I can heartily recommend it.
I love lesbians with trauma.
Do not see many people talking about it, like, ever. So
yeah, I've only heard you talk about it. So yeah, I need to get around it. It sounds really good. It was in your top 3, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Of the year. Yeah. Very nice.
Should have been.
Similar vein. Not really. Complete opposite vein. Tea Kingfisher. Just like specifically Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, or What Moves the Dead, which What Moves the Dead is an Edgar Allan Poe retelling, which was really good, but it's a non-binary, what is it called? Doctor. And then Wizard's Guide is, we've obviously done an episode on, and it's a bakery mage, which was really fun, saving the world. And I got really into Tea Kingfisher last year. I think I read most Tea Kingfisher books.
Yeah.
If not almost all of them. But no, I really enjoyed those two. So like that's I think they're underrated, because I'd never heard of Tea Kingfisher before we were like Wizard's Guide.
I think
so. Yeah.
Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking less so now, but I would still count it.
Yeah.
I feel like What Moves the Dead I've seen more people talk about, but even then, like, not a lot.
Okay. Not a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say they count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying they count. I want more people to read it. I'm counting it.
Okay, question 8 is the last book you finished.
How dare you? When I did these questions, I had just finished Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab. When I answered them, as of yesterday, it's no longer the case. Spoiler for what we're reading this month, but we're reading A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. Don't read it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Don't read it. Don't do it. Seeing as I was really excited to talk about Our Dark Duet, because it was my 5-star of the year, my first 5-star of the year, and it's fantastic. It's Tokyo Ghoul, but YA, and so heartbreaking. I cried a lot. And compared to Tempest of Tea, which I cried because I hated it so much. Yeah, you'll understand why we don't like it during the episode.
Yeah.
The premise is good.
Yep.
With
the concept
it being
was great. Yeah.
Fucking fantastic. A tea shop by day, at night a vampire kind of like shop where they go in to drink blood and stuff. And then it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Eve is increasingly wishing that we had recorded this yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit.
Unfortunately, we did not.
I made the mistake of finishing the book.
Yeah. On the upside, though, at least you finished it.
At least it's over.
Exactly, now it's over.
To be fair, we are, if you've seen the podcast before, this is in the same grouping as Red Scholar's Wake and Crier's War. Do not read them.
Yep.
Just listen to the episode, because the episode's fun.
The last book I finished was Sabriel, I don't know how you say it, by Garth Nix. Yeah. I finished it last night.
Nice. Perfect. Perfect timing.
It's YA fantasy. It's like high fantasy. It's from like 1995 originally. And it's quite good. I quite liked it. It's got a really interesting magic system. The main character is a necromancer, but her job isn't to... She doesn't raise the dead. Her job is to like send the dead back into the land of death. She's like a... she uses necromancy to like protect the world of the living by banishing the dead back to the dead. And she has like different bells that are all different sizes, and each bell does a different thing. It's really
That's
interesting.
Cool.
I would definitely recommend it. If you're just looking for like classic high fantasy. I thought it was good. And it's like the first book in a series of like 5 or 6 books that are all slightly spread out over time and have different characters in them and stuff. But
I was going to ask because I for some reason thought it was a sequel series to something else. I don't know why.
It is not. Sabriel is the first book in the series that was published. Gotcha. But in 2021, he published a prequel. So that might... I think that confuses some people.
That's probably confused me. Yeah. Yeah, that might do it.
But it is definitely like I think he would probably say, and I would definitely say you're meant to read Sabriel first and then go back and read them in publish order, because I think that probably makes more sense. But yeah, it's a good little fantasy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
No, question number 9. The last book you bought.
The last book I bought was Sword and Thistle by S.M. Rowland, which we will be reading and talking about for April?
March?
April.
Really?
Yeah, because March is
April.
Sunbringer.
Yes, April. Yes, that is true. I forgot about that. I get them mixed up in my brain.
That's fair.
Yeah. We've read one of theirs before. We did it for last year's book club.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
We read Cursed Cocktails.
Yeah.
And we quite enjoyed it.
Trope.
And it's not the same characters, but it is set in the same world.
Which I'm excited for, because I really did like the world building.
Yeah, I quite like that. So, yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. And I haven't bought any books since then. I have picked up a few proofs from work, but I didn't buy them, so that doesn't count.
I don't think I'd count proofs. I definitely wouldn't count Turn First of Teeth. I say with crooked teeth. The last book I bought, I think, is Will of the Many. James Islington mentioned it like a couple seconds ago. It's Roman Empire inspired epic fantasy about like your will being your magic. It's very fun.
Yeah.
And there's not really gore in it, but there's like a semblance of semi-gore in it, and it's like epic fantasy schooling system where you have to like get to certain classes, otherwise this guy's gonna kill the main character. So it's very fun. It's traumatic.
Yeah.
But I'm having a great time.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 10. Weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark?
Don't judge me. It's a crisp packet.
That's not that bad.
But like, it's not that bad.
No.
I could have used something worse. I could have used like my cat or like something else. But yeah, I think it's just like anything I can use as a bookmark. I'll use receipts over like actual bookmarks.
See, I do use bookmarks most of the time.
Yeah.
By most of the time, I mean all of the time. I have a bunch of bookmarks that are all like different colors. I like to try and pick the bookmark that's like color vibe matches the cover of the book, because that's fun.
I like that.
But I think the weirdest thing I've used as a bookmark, and this isn't very weird, is loom bands. You know,
I love that.
Obviously, they're less of a thing now, but like 5-6 years ago, they were huge.
Yeah.
And I had loom band
just like
bracelets.
One on its own.
Well, I had like a loom band bracelet thingy, and the the ones at the ends had like snapped or something, so they didn't make a circle anymore, and I couldn't be bothered fixing it. I just started using it as a bookmark.
You know what? Innovative. I like that.
Which works, but I would recommend not doing it because loom bands are thick when they're like put together, and so the book that I used now has a permanent like odd shape to it because it had like a big thick thing between the pages, so it doesn't sit flat anymore because it didn't have a flat thing. So I wouldn't recommend it, but it does work. I would also like to give an honourable shout out to my partner, because the other day I came home and she'd been reading a graphic novel, so like I think she was expecting that she'd probably finish it in one sitting. But she didn't, so she didn't have a bookmark to hand, so she put a partially used bit of a napkin as a bookmark. Which I think probably beats the crisp packet, to be honest with you. I think that's weird.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. Beautiful.
So, sorry for throwing you under the bus, sweetheart, but...
They're going to listen to the episode just to give you a stink eye.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's fine. She won't know until, a couple of weeks from now.
She never has to know. Shit, it's me doing the next question. Question 11. Used books, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Obviously.
I have no idea why this is even a question. Are there people who are that picky about this sort of stuff?
I guess so.
I think
used books are great.
I would prefer a new copy.
Yeah.
Because I think they look nicer. But I don't have any objection to used books. My only thing is if I'm like trying to collect a series, I don't like it when like they're all different editions. Yeah. So whenever I'm getting used books, I always try and make sure that I'm getting like the same edition as like one that I've got already. But I don't have any objection to used books.
Sometimes I find like brand new books in charity shops. So I'm always like, this is great. It's like £1. So like I love charity shop book hunting. It is my favourite thing in the world. It's 90% of my bookcase. That's a lie. But still. Or like the library and stuff.
Yeah, and also...
I would also count that as used books.
Like second-hand bookshops, of which there are many.
Tons.
Particular shout out to Barter Books in Alnwick in Northumberland. If you're in the UK, I would definitely recommend going to Barter Books. It is this incredible second-hand bookshop that is in an old train station. So it's like, it looks so pretty because it's got like the big arch. It's really, really beautiful, and it's packed with books. There are so many things. They've got everything in there, and because it's all like second hand, the prices are really good. And from where we are, it's quite easy to make like a nice day trip of it.
Very cute.
Like, it's far enough away that it feels like a day trip, but not so far that it feels like a massive way to go just to visit a bookshop. Yeah. So
and Alnwick's really pretty. I love it.
Alnwick is very pretty, yeah.
It is very nice. Alnwick Castle.
And for anybody who is trying to Google this place, Alnwick is spelled Alnwick.
You're welcome.
It is spelled Alnwick, but it is not said that way.
Yeah.
Just in case you're like not from the UK and you're trying to Google it, that's how you spell it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes to used books.
Yes. Absolutely.
And to be honest with you,
who doesn't like a used book?
Anybody who says no to used books, shut up.
Huh? How? Yeah, exactly. Shush. They're great.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's also books that are out of print that you can only get through used booksellers. So So
I will say,
suck up.
Also, for people who don't like to use Amazon for books, which absolutely fair enough, also be aware that Abe Books is owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, your money does go to bookshops and stuff, but using Abe Books does still support Amazon. So if you're like a no Amazon person, don't use Abe.
Yeah.
Because it's also Amazon.
Fortunately.
Just letting you all know. Because a lot of people do not know this. I did not know this.
Yeah. No.
So, just saying.
How dare they?
Okay. Question 12 is top 3 favourite genres.
I think we're going to be pretty similar.
I think 2 out of the 3 we're probably going to match on.
Yeah, I think so too. Sci-fi, fantasy, and dystopian.
Yeah, so fantasy and sci-fi I also have. My third one I've put romance, because...
How dare you?
At the end of the day, I was looking at my Storygraph stats, because that breaks down your top genres. And obviously one of my top genres was LGBTQ. But I was like, that's not really a genre.
No.
That's just a fact of the majority of books I read. So I was like, I'm not counting that.
I wonder why.
But yeah, then it was fantasy, sci-fi, and then romance.
Yeah, we have a niche.
So yeah,
nothing.
I don't think this should come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, look at the books we've picked. Looking
at the podcast itself, yeah.
Our
podcast is based after a fantasy tavern.
Fantasy or sci-fi?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure all of them have been something fantasy or sci-fi, right?
Yeah. Oh no, Camp Damascus is horror.
Oh, that's true, Camp Damascus.
Technically. Yeah.
It's low fantasy.
Also semi-fantasy, so... yeah. Oops. Yeah. Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But question 13. Borrow or buy?
Okay. I prefer to buy books. I prefer to own them. But
me too.
Sometimes if it's a book that I'm not sure about and I know that somebody I know has a copy, I will borrow it, and then if I enjoy it, buy myself a copy. But
that's what I do too.
I prefer to buy. Obviously, support local libraries as well. Borrow from your libraries.
Yeah, I was just about to go into that. Yeah. Because I get most of my books from the library, and if I like it, I buy it.
I think that's a good way to do it, because that way you're supporting a library, you're supporting probably a bookshop, and also you're supporting the author by buying copies of their books.
Exactly.
So I think that's...
And either way, I'm going to talk about the book that I read anyway. So, yeah. I literally, before recording, went to the library. I'm not even kidding. I got out 3 books.
Nice.
One of which is about a cat eating your eyeballs when you die.
Okay.
I know. It's going to be great. I can't wait. What question were we on?
That was question 13.
Okay,
so it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay, question 14. Characters or plot?
Okay. So, there's... both-ish. Because plot without characters wouldn't need to do anything, and plot-driven books are boring. But if it's character plot-driven books are better. Because it's characters that bring forward the story. So, in a sense, both ish, but I'd prefer characters.
Yeah.
Character-driven stories are better.
I get what you're saying, but I also, I definitely, my answer to this is characters, right? Because to me, characters without a plot can still work really well.
Yeah.
Right? That's
vibe only.
Almost look at the fucking Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. In fact, look at the entire Wayfarer series. There's not very much plot in those books at all.
Yeah.
They were driven entirely by the characters, and that works so well.
It does.
Whereas, on the flip side, having a strong plot, but terrible characters, terribly written characters,
awful.
Is I can't read it. So to me, characters are more important than the plot.
Yeah.
Because you can absolutely write a an entirely character-driven story with very minimal plot and get away with it. But if your story is all plot with really minimal characterization, it's just meh.
Yeah, it just feels like the characters are going along with the plot, even though they probably don't want to, or it's not stuff they would do. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Question 15: long or short books?
Short. I don't think this will surprise us that we're going to have different answers here. The vast majority of the books I read are under 500 pages. In fact, I'd probably say most of them are under 400 pages.
Yeah.
Or around 400 pages. I don't have anything against longer books. I just know that if a book is going to be longer than that, it has to really grab me. And most books that I've tried that are longer than that do not really grab me. So I tend to avoid that.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I think my sweet spot is between 300 and 500. I think less than 300 I enjoy, but they often feel too short. Unless it's like a novella that is deliberately written to be short.
I love a good novella. Novellas are so good, under 100 pages, very fun, very good story.
Yeah.
But like a decent 900-page book that you can like really get into. Oh, it's my favourite thing ever. But it has to be very specific, like over 900 pages. I need to know I'm going to like what's in it for me to get into it. It's why I don't often like a lot of the longer books I read.
That's fair, yeah.
It's usually anything over 600 pages, if there's one thing that irks me, it's like 2 stars. But I will sit and finish it. It's like To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. I read that. That's what, 900 pages? It's like 3 stars, but it's a really good book. But like the last half of it, I was so bored. It has to have very specific things.
Looking at my story graph, which like there's probably some books that I have read that aren't on here that I read like way back, but the longest book I've ever read, according to Storygraph, was The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which is like 650 pages.
Okay.
And that's about it. I've got a good few that are like around the 500, 550 sort of mark.
Yeah.
But mostly, I don't read long books. They just don't work for me.
I get the big book fear. I 100%.
I think it's just like there's a few times that I've started. Oh god, I started the fucking Wheel of Time series. That was a mistake.
Oh god, yeah, no, give up.
Oh, I did. Don't you worry.
Don't.
I made it like 60 pages in. And I was like, I cannot read another 600 pages of this just to finish one book.
Yeah.
Out of what, like 12?
It's so meh.
I was just like, no.
It's like, I think I've read the first like 2 maybe, and I like nothing really happens. To be fair, the only reason I kind of want to keep going is because Brandon Sandon finished the series. That's the only reason. But like, I can't be bothered.
I only tried because I kind of enjoyed the show, but then I realised that the only reason I kind of enjoyed the show is because of Rosamund Pike.
Me too.
Oh man,
anything Rosamund Pike is in. What a woman!
Honest to God,
literally.
That woman is beautiful.
She is. She knows it.
Oh yeah.
It's the only reason I kind of want to watch Saltburn is because she's in it. But I know I will hate that movie. Oh, I've heard traumatic things. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we both knew that we were going to be opposite answers on this. Okay. Question 16. Long or short chapters?
Short.
Yes.
Because I have the one more chapter thing that really gets me like zooming through it, but also I end up at 3 a.m. still reading my book.
Yes.
But like I will be totally fine being EP in the morning if it means like I'm speeding through the chapters because I just feel like whizzing through it.
I think there's
long chapters, like books with no chapters really annoy me.
Yeah.
Or just like page breaks.
Yeah.
Nah. Just end the chapter there.
It also for me is like I like to have stopping points when I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, I'm going to read for a while, but then I need to go and like do the dishes or something. Right? And so I can be like, oh, I'll finish this chapter. And in a book with long chapters, it's like, oh shit, there's half of the book gone. You know?
Yeah, literally.
Whereas, so I do prefer short chapters. That said, I think there is a lower limit, right? Like there are some books where a chapter is like a page, and you're like,
a page.
What was the point of this? So
Tempest of Tea. There was like 5 1-page like chapters right after each other, and I'm like, you're just switching POVs.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. It's just
none of the POVs were interesting.
Just weird. So
yeah.
Short chapters I definitely prefer. I think with ADHD, short chapters definitely help.
They really help.
As well, because
plus I feel more focused.
Well, and also I find that sometimes I need to like sort of make myself read, right? Like I've just like not read anything for a few days, and like I need to read my book because I do want to read my book. It's just that my brain isn't quite focused on it. And so for me,
like
if I can literally just be like, I will read a chapter at least, and then I've read something. That is easier when the chapters are shorter, because my ADHD brain could be like, this is only like a few pages,
5 pages.
effectively, right? So I can just read this. And most of the time, I read that chapter, and then my brain is locked into reading mode. And I just read a bunch, and that's great. But I feel like when it's a long chapter, that's a lot more intimidating.
Yeah. It's low commitment. So, if I only read a chapter, that's fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's great.
Exactly.
Okay. Question number 17. Name the first 3 books you think of. Shit.
Gideon the Ninth, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and The No Girlfriend Rule, because that's the book I'm currently reading.
Cute. Oh shit, no, I have to pick something that's not Gideon. I didn't, Harrow. Harrow the Ninth.
Harrow the Ninth. None of the Ninth.
If we were, none of the Ninth. Electo the Ninth.
Please.
Harrow the Ninth. If We Were Villains. By Emma Wheel. And, Arc of a Scythe by Neil Shusterman. But the first book is just Scythe, which is really good.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've seen those somewhere.
Oh my god, you need to read them. They're so fun. They're traumatic as hell. I don't like the ending, but it's really good. First book's impeccable. It's like 300 pages.
Cool.
Quickly move on. Question 18.
Oh yeah, question 18.
Books that make...
Yeah. Sorry, this is technically my turn, isn't it?
Oh no, I can. Okay.
Question 18. Books that make you laugh or cry. Now this question was weird. Okay, books that make you laugh or cry.
Yeah.
Is this question asking, would you rather a book that makes you laugh or a book that makes you cry? Or is the question asking, name a book that makes you laugh and name a book that makes you cry?
I've kind of done that, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know.
To answer
I was confused
the first of those 2 questions, I'd rather a book that makes me laugh. Because half of the time, a book that makes me laugh also has the potential to make me cry.
Yeah, usually.
And for a book to make me cry, it's got to be like really, like, nailing it.
Heart-wrenching. Yeah.
And I can't read that too much, so I'd rather read a book that makes me laugh.
Same.
To answer the second question of name a book that makes you laugh / cry, any of the Locked-In books, because they all do both.
Yeah, both.
You'll be like laughing for the first 90%, and then the last 10% of the book, you are sobbing.
I'm gonna like sob. I'm gonna die. I want out.
It's brutal.
I would rather a book make me laugh than cry. It makes me feel better. I'm not reading to make myself feel bad, so I want to I don't like books like, I don't know, Hanya Yanagihara I will not pick up because I do not want existential crisis or books that just nothing good happens in. So I will not read that, but I would rather laugh. But also, Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers made me sob.
Oh yeah.
Uncontrollably.
Oh yeah.
It really gave me an existential crisis and it was great.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, the Locked-In makes me laugh.
And also cry.
And also cry. And want to cry. Yeah. Question 19. Our world or fictional world?
Fictional.
Who's asking? Who has the crisis of wanting to stay here is my question.
Like
our world is kind of shit.
I can occasionally enjoy a book set in the real world, but only if it's like low fantasy.
Fantasy, exactly.
But
I want dragons and shit.
Generally speaking, I would much rather a book that is set in another world entirely. The only time...
Exactly.
I guess the exception would be like sci-fi, because a lot of sci-fi is technically set in our world, just way in the future. But
still,
I count that as a fictional world, because...
yeah. Captain Pike is sadly not here yet, even though we want him to be.
That beautiful hair. You know,
His beautiful hair. Go watch Stranger Things. It's so
unfortunately, it is only on Paramount Plus, but, you know...
Really sucks.
I would recommend, like...
Do a trial.
Get a trial and just binge it.
Yeah. So good. Okay. Question 20.
Audiobooks, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
It's what I listen to and from uni. It really keeps me going.
I have to be in the right mood for audiobooks. Sometimes I would rather listen to podcasts or just music. But absolutely, yes, audiobooks. I think they are fantastic. I think they're a great way to, you know, consume books. I know personally a number of people with like ADHD or with dyslexia who audiobooks just make it much easier for them to process things.
Exactly.
And also, like, they find that they can read quicker with an audiobook than a physical book. And so, absolutely yes to audiobooks. 2.8 speed. If you're going to listen to audiobooks, use Libro FM.
Libro FM is great.
It's great.
I love it so much.
It's got so many books on it. You can have like a membership and everything. I'm fairly sure it is cheaper. And when you buy a book or use a credit to buy a book or whatever on Libro FM, you own the files. You do not have to use Libro FM to listen to them. They are entirely DRM free. You can just play them through any media player. You own the files. So if Libro FM collapses, you're fine. All the audiobooks you bought are still yours. Unlike Audible.
Yeah. Christ.
So yeah, Libro FM. And also you can use Libro FM to support your local bookshop.
Exactly.
So that whenever you buy any audiobook, or if you have a membership, a percentage of that goes to the bookshop that you choose to support, which is brilliant. So use Libro FM. Quit using Audible. It's shit.
It is shit. And it's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I can't think of any features that Audible has that Libro FM doesn't that are actually important.
Yeah. Honestly,
like, it's got a car mode, you can change the speed of the thing, all that good shit.
Exactly. You can pick and choose chapters, it's fantastic.
You can even change how far the little like skip back, skip forward buttons go. Like I think it defaults to like 15 seconds, but you can change that. Yeah. It's great. Woohoo. Use Libro FM. It's great. If you're going to listen to audiobooks, it's better.
Question 21. Do you ever judge a book by its cover?
Yes.
All of the fucking time. All of the time.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I am begging publishers, please stop making
pretty.
blue books.
Yes. Oh my god, there's so many
There
of
are so many colours out there. Stop all choosing blue.
Honestly. I get blue's a pretty colour, but it's basic.
Everybody's book is blue. Use something different. Make your book stand out.
And romance books, please stop putting chiseled men on your fucking book cover. Yeah. It's ugly. I don't like it.
Yeah. Anybody who says that they don't judge books by the cover is lying to you.
Is incorrect.
They are lying. They absolutely judge a book by a cover. You look at the cover of a book. When you're browsing a bookshop, you see a cover, and that is what makes you think, oh, that book looks like it might be interesting. Don't tell me that you look at the cover and nothing happens. No, you're lying. You absolutely do judge books by their covers, and you all fucking know it. Stop trying to act like you're better because you don't judge books by the cover, because you do, and we all know you do. So stop it. It really annoys me. Have you seen these people on TikTok? There's always people on TikTok who are like, oh, like, I don't do it. I don't care about the covers. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Because covers absolutely influence your buying decisions.
It's why
as a bookseller, I have seen it happen. I have seen people look at a book, go, oh, that looks pretty, pick it up, read the blurb, and then put it back down again because they've read the blurb and they don't think it sounds interesting. But it's the cover that makes them pick it up in the first place, and that matters.
Exactly. Exactly.
Special fucking shout out, by the way, to Fitzcarraldo editions, which are the worst fucking covers I have ever fucking seen. They're just blue with white text or white with blue text. And I know that they're like collectible, but they look shit. They look bad. They're ugly. I want actual fucking covers on my books, please, for the love of God.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
Also, Godkiller that we read last year, I picked that up because I thought the cover looked cool.
Yeah.
That is honestly, why I picked it up, and then I said to Eve, like, oh, I saw this book, what do you think? And then we ended up doing it for the book club.
Because I also thought it was gorgeous, and I think the second book's gorgeous, so we're doing the second one.
Yeah. So, yes. Absolutely, I judge a book by its cover, and so does everybody else, and anybody who tells you they don't is lying to you to make themselves feel special.
Exactly.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom. Drop the mic.
Okay.
Don't actually. I've still got stuff to record.
Question 22. Book to movie or book to TV?
Okay. I'm going to use Percy Jackson as a thing. In most cases, TV semi-works better.
Yes.
Because you can do like increments and include more story. Yes. But I do like a movie adaptation.
Yes.
I liked the Maze Runner adaptations to the movies because they worked really well and I thought they were very fun. But it has to be done well, so it depends. I'm more likely to do a TV show than the movies.
Yeah.
But then movies are less commitment.
I think...
To me.
I think TV shows allow you to do more. Because you effectively have a much longer runtime, right? Like a movie, you can only really go to like 2 and a bit hours before people are starting to tune out. A TV show, you're doing it in chunks, and you can have much longer time overall. But, that said, there are some things that would not work as TV shows that do work as movies.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine like The Lord of the Rings being adapted into a TV show.
Well,
right? Like,
yeah.
The Rings of Power is not but that's not The Lord of the Rings.
So
I'm talking about the story of The Lord of the Rings, right? Like Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Two Towers,
isn't it it's getting readapted, isn't it?
Wouldn't be surprised. But, like, to me,
honestly,
those work as movies because those books make sense in that context. If you try and make that into a TV show and try and break it down into too many chunks, I think it starts to lose oomph.
It's like I'm like, if we're going off Lord of the Rings, I'm okay with losing some stuff from the books to have a movie of it.
Yes.
Like a 4-hour movie. It's not 4 hours, it's like 2.5.
Well,
but still.
I don't know how long the extended editions are.
I want the recut of the recut, okay? I want all of the footage. I want Faramir's wedding. Okay? But
the extended
I completely agree when it comes to Lord of the Rings movies.
About 3 hours for the first 2 and 3.5 for the third one.
Give me all of the footage. I want all of the footage. Just give me an 8-hour Lord of the Rings each movie would be great, but still. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they both work.
It's sort
but
of
it has
a
to be
mixed
specific.
bag. I'm like, both would work. I think
Percy Jackson movies, kill.
I think TV gives you the ability to go into a bit more detail in a different way that you can't get away with in a movie. So I think like if I was an author and I got the option, I'd probably rather go with TV. But I do think it depends on the book.
I would think TV as well, but like if it's this just popped into my head, but if it's a graphic novel, I want TV as well.
Yes.
Weirdly enough. Unless it's like a really short graphic novel, like a 1-book graphic novel, then movie. But like usually TV.
I think it does depend on the story. I think that's part of the problem, but I would say on the whole probably TV.
Yeah, TV. Okay. Number 23, a movie or TV show you preferred to its book.
This might be a bit controversial, but The Lord of the Rings.
I kind of agree.
I think
they're more accessible.
The Lord of the Rings books, right? And don't get me wrong, they are good. They are good books. Good. They are good fantasy. Like, there is a lot of stuff that Tolkien comes up with that you see then reused in other stuff. And he really knew his fucking shit when it came to like folklore and languages and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But those books are dense, man. They are dense.
Yeah.
They are not accessible. There's a lot of unnecessary waffle in those books. Mm-hmm. And while I don't think the movies are perfect, I do definitely hold the Lord of the Rings movies up as one of the best, like, book to screen adaptations that has ever been made. Because, yes, stuff
Viggo
gets cut
Mortensen.
out, but, like,
yeah,
I think
but they're impeccable.
It was cut out to make them really good movies.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And I want to really, really stress here that I am talking about the Lord of the Rings movies, not The Hobbit.
Not Rings of Power.
And not Rings
The Hobbit's
of Power.
Rough.
Right? Those are different, those are bad adaptations and bad. But the Lord of the Rings movies...
The Hobbit should have been one movie.
The Lord of the Rings movies are really good adaptations, and I would rather watch the movies than read the book again.
Me too. Because the books are very dense.
They are, and they're good books,
very
but
dense.
They're not accessible, and you've got to really commit. And the movies you can just sort of watch.
Yeah.
And like you
really
said,
fun.
Viggo Mortensen looking
exactly as Aragorn,
looking hotter than
he
has ever looked or will ever look ever again.
Right.
That man is not an attractive man. Sorry, Viggo. He's not an attractive man.
Yeah.
But Aragorn,
Aragorn,
when he's
Strider,
dirty and scrumbly, and nobody's washed him for weeks. Beautiful.
He's great. He looks great. But when he gets clean in that last movie, I lose all attraction to him.
He gets cleaned and then sings, and it's terrible. And somebody straightened his fucking hair, and he looks
I hate it.
Bad. Give me back dirty Aragorn.
Curly Aragorn. It's why I never really got into Legolas, because he was always so pristine and perfect.
Yeah.
And looked kind of, he was just
Yeah.
Give me Aragorn. He's beautiful.
Yep.
Viggo, come on.
So yeah, I know that might be a bit controversial, but I do prefer the movies to the books.
Oh, I'm gonna be controversial as well. And it's a book series I love. Like, I love them. It's How to Train Your Dragon.
Ooh.
I fucking adore the movies and TV shows with all my heart. But the books are for younger readers. The movies and TV shows are for teenagers and above, I would say. Like, they're accessible for everyone, but I would rather go and watch the movie than go back and read the book. Saying that, last year I did both at the same time, over and over again. But if I had to choose between the first book and the first movie, I would choose the first movie. They are very, very different.
I was going to say, I think it helps as well that
extremely
it is
different.
Fundamentally, effectively a different story.
It is completely a different story. There's new characters in the movies that don't exist in the book. Only like Fishlegs and Hiccup are mainly in the books. Like Astrid, I don't think...
Astrid is not in the books.
She even exists.
No.
She doesn't exist. So like, I fucking love her in the movie. So like, the movies are just so good to me. I love them so much. We don't talk about the ending of the third movie. To me, it doesn't happen. So...
I don't know if I've ever even seen the third movie.
Oh, it hurts. It's gorgeous, but it hurts.
Okay. Okay. Last question. Question 24. Yeah. Series or standalone?
Which I think is weird that this is the ending question.
I also think it's weird that they've got this question and trilogies versus series.
Yeah, I don't quite understand this list, but you know. Series.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me more. Prequels, sequels, spin-offs. I want everything. Standalones are fine if it's a book I'm not really in commitment for, or it's like one we're doing for the book club. I love a good standalone, but series are just better.
Yeah. If it's a book that I read, there's so many books that I read and I enjoy, and then that's it. That's the only book.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's fine, because sometimes like a book, you know, wraps everything up nicely just in itself, and you can just move on.
Mm-hmm.
But I like series. I like things that are, you know, tied together, and I like it when there's more of a thing that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. There's more little guys. Even if it's like completely different characters, I might even like that better sometimes.
So yeah,
but,
I'm like,
love a series.
I'm happy with standalones, but given the choice, series every time.
Series. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. But that's the end of the fucking episode of season 1, our first episode back of the year. Yeah, which is a bit crazy.
Very weird.
It's so strange. As we said previously, the first episode of the book club, we will be covering A Tempest of Tea by what the hell is her name?
Hafsa Faisal.
Hafsa Faisal, thank you. I went to go grab the book. You got there before me. It is... Don't bother.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah.
It's just listen to the episode. We get into it. It's kind of annoying by how good it sounded, but
yeah,
it's very If you like it's like Six of Crows, but like if Six of Crows was just
bad
shitter. Shitter than it already is, but like still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen to our episode, it's really funny.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our next book club, and of course next month we will have another Talking in the Tavern. I think
yes.
I'm right in saying that next month's Talking in the Tavern is going to be us talking about the Percy Jackson show.
I believe it is. We're gonna sort of
which I'm do a bit so of a excited. Deep dive. And talk about it.
Because we love the books and we love Uncle Rick.
We do. So we'll see. We'll talk about that.
I have very strong opinions
about
we've
both
so
got
far.
Thoughts. So tune in next month to hear those thoughts. About that.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us here at the Tavern. Phoenix, where can our listeners find you outside the podcast?
They can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, or Instagram, all under Beans and Fungi. What about you, Eve?
And you can find me under Cozy Crow with an S and not a Z on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
And of course, make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at Hearth and Tome Pod, Twitter at Hearth and Tome, and TikTok at hearth.and.tome to keep up to date with all the goings on here at the tavern.
Bye.
Bye.
The music used within this episode was Wholesome by Kevin MacLeod through incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license.